the episode of the Biology of Trauma podcast. This is a mini series on episode 129. If you want to find that episode and go back and listen to it, because I'm answering a question that came in from Rebecca about that episode. Rebecca is an EMDR therapist, and she posted on LinkedIn and said, Dr. Aimie, you mentioned something about an equation our nervous system runs in podcast episode 129. My clients can have health symptoms show up after making progress in an EMDR session with me. It seems like the nervous system equation is perceiving danger more than safety after this session. What are practical things I can tell them to do leaving the session with me that might help avoid or reduce this? Rebecca, what a great observation, first of all. I love that you're noticing these patterns because there's so much that you can do. And when you tell them what might happen and you give them the plan for what to do if it does, they develop more trust in you because they can see that you really understand the body, their nervous system, that these things are predictable. And they are predictable. In episode 129, I talked about how the autonomic nervous system is constantly running an equation that tells us whether we're in danger or in safety. Now, this is a subconscious equation. It's based on neuroception, and all of this information is coming in to give it that perception of, in this moment, right here, right now, how much in threat am I or how much in safety am I? Now, there's a large biology aspect to this equation, which allows us and you, Rebecca, to be able to come in and leverage one's biology to be able to restore balance to this equation when it's leaning more heavily towards the danger side of things than the safety side of things. And this is exactly what happens when someone experiences health symptoms, especially an emotional reaction that it's creating physical health symptoms. It's the sign, it's the message from the body that this equation, demand versus capacity, has swung to the side of, I don't have enough capacity for what's being demanded of me. And so it goes into danger mode and survival responses as a result. So this calculator, this neuroception calculator, it's running 24/7. It is beneath our logic, beneath our conscious control, which is why we need to be able to recognize the signs of when it tells us that it's calculating safety and the signs that it tells us that it's calculating danger. And remembering that the data that's coming into this calculation is everything from what we see outside of us, but also what we're picking up in relationship with someone else. So are we picking up their energy? Are we picking up their facial expressions? But it's also collecting data from inside of us, our cellular resources. How much magnesium do we have? How much ATP, or the actual energy that we have. And so this is why this sense of danger or safety is never just what is visible to us, the visible threats, but so much of one's biology. And this is what we can't see with our eyes. And so when we're working with someone, Rebecca, you're working with someone as they're coming in for an EMDR session with you, you don't know right away what is their internal biology state. What is their internal inflammation? How much brain inflammation do they have right now? What's their toxin load? What's their sugar level like? Because all of this will be data that's coming into their neuroception and also creating that background calculation. So going into stored emotions is an important aspect for us to look at. What is the effect of that on this equation? Does the body perceive danger when we're going into stored emotions, when we're accessing old memories, when we're connecting with our body for the first time and we're used to living in our head and thinking about everything, analyzing everything? These all are perceived as demands. Now, for some people, based on their history, it won't just be a demand. Their body will consider it a life threat. It is a life threat to actually feel my feelings. It is a life threat to actually open up an old memory. And so these are not just emotions that need to be processed, but emotions that can trigger life threat responses from our body because of the degree of danger that our neuroception has placed on these. So when someone does EMDR or any deep therapeutic work, they're asking their nervous system to do something that feels dangerous. They're asking their nervous system to allow something to open that has never been safe to open up before. They're asking their mind to be present to feelings that have always been unbearable. And why would we ever allow ourselves to feel that? It's been much safer to avoid, distract, and numb. And so here we come. And Rebecca, your client is coming into their EMDR therapy session, and they're coming in with a capacity bank account. This is how I describe it in my book. There's a bank account, and we have a capacity. It's how much capacity is in that bank account, just like how much money is in a financial bank account. And we can't pull out more than what is in the account. So capacity is like that bank account, and it receives both deposits, but also has withdrawals. And what might be deposits? Well, these are the deposits that come in the form of feeling safe. Whatever it is that makes a person feel safe, those will be deposits into their account. It's different for different people. For some people, I want to think of connection, right? For some people, connection will be a deposit into their capacity account. For other people, connection feels stressful. That was not a deposit, that is a withdrawal. I need to fill up my bank account before I have the energy to connect because it doesn't fill me up. It's a withdrawal. And so your client walking in, Rebecca, they've got a certain amount of money or capacity in their bank account. And that's all they have for that day. That's all they have for that therapy session with you. And what if they're walking in and they didn't sleep well the night before? Well, their capacity is lower. Their account does not have as much money in it to pull from. What if they have been doing some stress eating and they've had some unhealthy fats and now there's some inflammation, or maybe they've been eating some foods that give them some quick energy through histamine and adrenaline because they've been fighting their functional freeze. Except those foods also are triggering this idea of leaky gut and causing a lot of inflammation in their gut that then travels to their brain, is causing brain inflammation. They're walking into your room, whether Zoom room or actual physical room, and because of their biology, their capacity account is very, very small. And here you are inviting them to open up things that feel life-threatening to their body. Those take incredible withdrawals from one's capacity account. And what if they don't have that much capacity in their account that day? What happens is that they start to experience physical health symptoms. And what I've noticed is that it often happens coming out of the therapy session, not always during, or maybe they're not aware of it to even tell you about it during the session. Now, even if their capacity account is full coming in, what are things that we can do that will buffer this effect that we see where emotional work causes physical symptoms? And if you've ever experienced this, whether yourself or if you're a practitioner, that you've seen this in those that you help, this idea that the emotional work can seem to trigger physical health symptoms, reactions, responses, I would love for you to share that into the chat. How can we buffer that? Well, the good news is that we know how to make deposits into this capacity account. And when a person leaves a session, that is the perfect time to make deposits into their account. Now, I'll tell you what happens most of the time. Most of the time, someone has packed in their therapy session into their busy life and they've got to rush off to the next thing. The lack of time is a signal of danger to the nervous system. This sense of rushing is a signal of danger to the nervous system. And so here is already a leverage point that we can have, where what if we encourage them to create some buffer after the end of a therapy session? Maybe they can stop at the park for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, sit in nature, journal. I want to even say that being able to sit on a bench and just watch a lake, be around water, look at the birds. These are things that will make deposits back into their account, and the withdrawal will not be as, I want to say, as severe, and it may not even reach the point where it causes physical health symptoms because it didn't go into the negative balance. We were able to put in those deposits before it became a negative balance. What are other things that they can do? I mean, there's certainly a lot of things that they can do coming into the session. I've mentioned a few of them, like quality sleep, like their diet and nutrition. Leaving a deep emotional work process can leave a person craving sugar. It's very common for people to stop at the store after a therapy session and grab, I don't want to name any specific drinks that are full of sugar. So we'll just say sugar, processed sugar in many forms. And this is all because their body has gone into a survival response. And once it goes into the survival response, it needs quick energy in order to respond. And sugars give us that quick energy. And so, what if we could have them pack some protein snacks that they can have right after the end of the session? And then their body isn't in that place where it's craving sugar because it doesn't have what it needs. You've given it what it needs, and you've given it something that it can sustain itself and not have the fast fluctuations in the blood sugar levels that also make withdrawals from our capacity account. It doesn't end up making a deposit when we're providing our body with this food source that is inflammatory. It makes more withdrawals from our capacity account. So here are two things that you can already tell them to do. One would be create some buffer at the end of a session. You have to do it with intention, because with our busy lives, that will not just happen, but have them plan ahead of time. Where will they go after the session with you? If we don't plan those things ahead of time, oftentimes they're walking out and they're still in that bit of a daze and the fog from the opening up of deep emotions, that they're not going to be able to think well. And when we don't think well, guess what drives our behaviors? Our nervous system steps in, does its default, and its default will be to go numb, to go into the freeze, to get the processed sugar, because this is what it has always done. That's the default. So in order to change the default response, we actually have to plan ahead. So have them plan ahead. In fact, this would be an amazing thing to do with your clients. Sit down at the beginning of a session. What's your plan for after the session? Where are you going to go? How are you going to create that time to, if you want to use the word, to integrate, right? That's a common word that we use in therapy. This idea of integrate the work that we just did. The body needs time to do that. And when we're not fitting in the time, when your clients or patients are not fitting in the time, their body will remain in danger and survival mode. The other thing that we talked about, the other action step that we talked about, was this idea of having them bring protein-based snacks so that they can have something to eat as soon as they're done, and they don't go into that phase where their body has gone into a stress mode, taken up and consumed all their sugar, and now they're craving and literally feeling like they will die if they don't get sugar right now. And they're stopping at the store to get inflammatory sugar. So have them bring something with them. And in fact, that's a great way to bring in this nourishment into that buffer space, is being able to have the time, have the space, sit in nature, let your body calm down, let your body have the time to reset back to safety, have them know that they're okay, that they didn't die from opening up these emotions. Yes, their nervous system will actually believe that they will die if they open this stuff up. And so they need time to realize I'm okay. And allowing their body to re-nourish, refuel, helps their body reset back to full safety so that they're not still in depletion mode, but their bank account of capacity has been filled back up with time and healthy nourishment. With that, I'm your host, Dr. Aimie, reminding you that there is always a biology behind everything that we see the body do. And I look forward to sharing more with you. As a reminder, my book is available for order already. And all of this is based on my book. These are the concepts that I shared in my book and teach in my book. And so with that, it is available on Amazon, and look forward to hearing what you think about my book when you have a chance to read it. Thank you so much.